Welcome in, everybody, to Scout's Eye on College Football. I am Chris Landry on the Landry Football Podcast Network. As we're going to take a look at some key Group of Five games in college football this weekend, breaking it down for you inside the film room. A reminder that you can get even more detailed film room breakdowns over at LandryFootball.com, where we break down the college game, the NFL game, preview the games, review the games, tell you why things happen so that you can get a better understanding of the game of football from a coaching and scouting perspective. So check it out there. Try out our football season sale. The best deal is that one for 12 months, but try it out for 6 months. Try it out for a month, whatever is your pleasure. LandryFootball.com. Do me a favor, do us all a favor, sign up for the Landry Football Podcast Network. That will make sure that you get all of our shows. Now, if you're a particular fan of a particular conference, the SEC, ACC, Big 10, Big 12, Pac 12, sign up for that conference. We call it SEC Football and Beyond, Big 10 Football and Beyond. So do that as well. So let's take a look at some of the key games and some intriguing ones. Florida's coming off that loss to Kentucky, and they've got South Florida in a game that we know there was a lot of talk. And South Florida, Central Florida's, heyday. Let's get them on the schedule. Well, the Bulls, not very good team. They're 1-1. They have to keep their offense balanced in this game. It was pretty balanced against BYU, but they got hammered by BYU, a BYU team that was much more physical, good team in a 50-21 loss. It was balanced for over 200 yards in both rushing and receiving in the expected win over Howard. Now they've got to play their best game of the year for all the positives in the start under Billy Napier. And I think there was against Utah and all the hype about Anthony Richardson. They have not thrown a touchdown pass in the first two games. There's not much of a passing attack. I've been asked about their receivers. Yeah, the receivers got some work to do, but also Florida has to run the football to force heavy boxes so they can create spacing and coverage. And the running game stalled against Kentucky. 2 turnovers were costly. If you force Florida to the air, they're going to make mistakes. They've got to run the football to set up the pass. The Bulls' D has generated 4 takeaways. Their offense is not very good. It was good against Howard, but it's supposed to be. The focus at Florida has been on the offense and the quarterback, but the defense was a big plus. It got run on by Utah, an attack that will do that against a lot of folks, but it did a better job against Kentucky, and it forced Will Levis to kind of do some things differently. Look, it was the defense of Kentucky that stood up. It was the defense of Florida that gave them a chance against Kentucky. South Florida is not doing anything on money downs. I don't see them challenging Florida here. Western Kentucky at Indiana. Look, the passing game isn't that big of a deal for Western Kentucky as it relates to what they have been under Bailey Zappi, but they still can move the football. They've only played Austin Peay in Hawaii thus far, but Austin Reed's a pretty good player. He's not Bailey Zappi, but they can throw it. And look out, Indiana. Don't get behind in this game. The competition's not really good. This Indiana team is better. The Indiana backfield, they can move the chains. They're not making a ton of mistakes. In fact, they beat Illinois because Illinois turned it over, and Indiana did not. But they've got too many penalties, and they're getting the pass rush rolling over their first 2 games. Time of possession is an issue for Indiana. The offense doesn't care about bleeding the clock. They just want to score. Do they want to get in a shootout in this game? Connor Bazelak needs to be more accurate for the Hoosiers, but he pulled out the Iowa win. He put it out of the fire and looks like the type of veteran who can handle the work combined with Shaun Shivers and solid running backs. Western Kentucky is going to have to deal with the ground game for the first time all year. It was too much of a struggle I thought, for Indiana to put away Idaho. I thought they would, play a little bit better, particularly since they got stymied with their run game against Illinois. It tore through Idaho's run defense. Western Kentucky has enough of an offense and enough good parts to make this a closer game. Look for some points. I got a pick and more details about this game over at LandryFootball.com. You got to throw in any game that Iowa plays as, hey, is their offense going to wake up? Nevada goes to Iowa. Um, you know, can Nevada find a way to score on special teams? Can they get short fields? The Iowa offense is tough to watch. If they don't get well this week, we got some real problems. I mean, they're not good, but they should be able to score. But they didn't score against South Dakota State. Only one touchdown against Iowa State. They're going to get better on offense. Not be good, but get better. Nevada has enough of a running game to at least keep this close. Look, if Iowa can't score when you're that deficient on offense, then it's never more than a one or two possession game. And so I think Nevada can make this, well, it's going to be close if you can't score. So let's see if Iowa can get anything done offensively in this game. Is there anything working on their offense? Not really. Nothing's looking good on film. But the defense is really good. In fact, the defense has to be extraordinary to deal with the lack of an offense. It's allowing just 2.3 yards per carry. It came up with 3 takeaways against Iowa State. And look, you kind of go into this game thinking, how many points can we score? Meaning the defense. Nevada is a good backfield. It's not going to run on a regular basis. It's got an improved passing game. I just don't know that they can score enough points. I do think Iowa can score here. Anything short of 20 points here by Iowa's offense, and we got to have a real talking to there, because I think this Nevada defense is really attackable in a lot of areas. So it's a get-well game for Iowa's offense. Now, go ahead, take your medicine, get it going. And I do think they'll get better as the year goes along. As I said, not good offensively by the end of the year, but still maybe better. This defense, they're ruining in Iowa City a great defense. SMU goes to Maryland in an intriguing game. The Rhett Lashlee era has jumped off to a pretty good start with the passing game. Oregon without a problem, and the offense as a whole fully turned up wins over North Texas and Lamar. Maryland hasn't faced a passer like Tanner Mordecai yet. They gave up a ton of yards to Charlotte. Defensively, Maryland has been more than fine, but it's just to force a takeaway. On the flip side, SMU's defense has forced 5 turnovers in the first 2 games. The defense hadn't been a problem. The Terps are about to buy them away here. I think SMU's defense has been pretty good thus far. The pass defense has only allowed North Texas and Lamar to combine for about 45% of their passes completion-wise. And the 5 turnovers, I think, are a bit concerning. Charlotte's bad. Buffalo's struggling, but Maryland did what it had to do. The ground game find its groove. The passing attack opened up. And this kind of should be where the SMU defense starts to get exposed a little bit, I think. Talia Tagovailoa is averaging close to 11 yards per passing attempt. I think he's going to be able to stretch his SMU secondary. So it'll be interesting to see. This is one that Mike Locksley needs to win. There's no question about it. This is one that you've got. Your offense has to step up and really challenge an SMU defense that hadn't been challenged as much. But the defense is going to have to come up with a good game as well. Old Dominion goes to Virginia. We know that Old Dominion beat Virginia Tech. We predicted that here on the podcast, as well as at LandryFootball.com. I'm not so sure that Old Dominion's not the better team here, meaning team, play smarter, protect the football better. Those are the things that you look for. Virginia is struggling offensively. It hadn't come up with the high-powered passing game. The running game didn't do a good job against Illinois. 5 turnovers. I don't look at this Old Dominion team and say this is all that good of a team, but they're experienced. They've got experienced guys. They have not protected the football. They haven't played their best ball. They're doing a poor job, Old Dominion is, on third downs. It's about growth here. How much do you grow? How quickly do you grow? If Virginia cuts down on the turnovers, they win this game. But I'm just not comfortable with it. I think Old Dominion is growing at a little bit of a different rate. Kind of like their chances here, but we'll tell you kind of how we see the game playing out over at LandryFootball.com. Wake Forest hosts Liberty in a really intriguing Group of Five involvement game. Liberty's been somewhat quiet in their 2-0 start. They've beaten Southern Miss and UAB. They don't have Malik Willis under center, but the pass defense has been pretty good. They've got 9 takeaways. Wake Forest has been good their first 2 games, but not getting a lot of defensive pressure. Sam Hartman is back, played pretty well against an undermanned Vanderbilt team. And I think they have a chance to be pretty good. The defense didn't allow 300 yards in either of their 2 games. So we'll see. Caden Salter is the new quarterback for Liberty now, and I'm curious to see. Kind of like Wake here. I don't think this Liberty team has as much firepower, but we shall see. Tulane, Kansas State is an intriguing game. We talked about it in the Big 12 show. The Greenway haven't played anybody really good thus far. There's decent balance. The run defense isn't allowing big gashes. But, boy, they haven't been challenged like they're going to be challenged defending the run with this Kansas State team. It's not a really good very poor passing offense, but they can run the football. Deuce Vaughn can run it. They get good movement up front. Adrian Martinez can run it. This Kansas State team's playing well. Kansas, the other team in state, is going to Houston. We also talk about this game in the Big 12. This Kansas offense is looking really good for Lance Leipold. There's no question that Jalen Daniels is the real deal, and it's going to be a tough matchup. Houston has gone into overtime the first 2 games against Texas San Antonio and Texas Tech. The running game hasn't worked, and, boy, if they don't watch it, this could be real interesting. The Cougars have played better personnel to this point. They've survived. The defense has been, thrown into some different looks, and they I thought did a really good job. But the pass rush, can they get enough pass rush on Daniels? That's going to be the key. Can they get control of the game? I think Houston's got better personnel here. But will they make the mistakes that Dana Holgorsen teams tend to make? Do they implode on themselves? If they do, Kansas could get them. Again, we've got greater details for you at LandryFootball.com. All the games, all the breakdowns, all the conferences in the NFL, college, we got for you in detail, giving you a coaching and scouting perspective on the game of football. So check it out. Our football season sale is on. Take advantage of that. It's the best way to get involved. See the game through the eyes of a coaching and scouting staff. That's what we provide for you. Folks, for less than a magazine subscription, you can have access to your own college and coaching department. So enjoy the games. We'll be back to break it down for you, taking you inside the game of football. It's been Scout's Eye on college and pro football, a look at the Group of 5 biggest games of Week 3. We'll talk to you next time, everybody.